I want to talk to people who are trying to date, who have attachment issues. Yeah, a date is a date. First of all, every date does not have to end in a sexual encounter. I'm going to say that again. Every date does not have to wind up as a sexual encounter. Okay? A date could be simply two people who enjoy each other's company that spend time together. That can be a date. Getting to know each other without any notions or ideas. Now, the attachment problems come in for people who have issues with them. And I strongly suggest before you get involved with anyone else, if you have an issue with attachment, you need to go ahead and seek a therapist for that. You're wondering why people don't want to deal with you after a certain period of time. They start ghosting you and they don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm referring to people that once they go out on the first date or the second date or the third date, all of a sudden their imagination just goes crazy. They start thinking about, what their last name would be if they married this person and what kind of house they're going to go into. And, how many kids they're going to have if children are involved. They're thinking about all these things and you've only gone out on a few dates with this person. You may not have even discussed relationship at that time. You're still trying to get to know each other. Now, on the flip end of that, if you have been seeing somebody, let's say for a year or so, and y'all hadn't even brought up the issue, then that's a problem too. Because that person, I'm going to tell you something, most men 9 times out of 10 after about a year, 2 at the most, they have the idea of keeping you has come across their mind. And if it hasn't happened by the end of year 2, guess what? There's something else going on as to why he can't be connected to you. Men don't waste time like that. They really don't. You may think they do, but they don't. And if they haven't brought up any type of long-term plans with you or after all that time and you've seen each other, say, at least a minimum 2-3 times a week and have been in constant communication, some questions need to be asked. But you know what? I'm not going to even restrict that to the men because I've heard stories from men that complain that way about their females. It could be anybody. But back to the person who goes crazy after the first or second date over this person. Do you know that lets off kind of a stifling energy? If there's a situation where somebody doesn't bring up the subject, you don't bring it up. I know a couple of people that turn around and get involved with folks and month 2, they're talking about when you're going to get married, when you're going to move in together, when you're going to do all this stuff. Red flag. And it's waving hard with no wind. I'd run too. Tell you something. I'm at an age right now where there are a lot of middle-aged men that never been married and had children before. Case in point. I've had several situations where there are a lot of men that never had any kids, never got married, and now they're at that age that once they start dating a female, that's the number one thing on their mind. They don't care what female it is, and they will come to the table talking about what they want. Now that scares me off, and it should scare any reasonable female with a mind of her own. Because she's wondering, why is this person moving so fast? See, that goes back to my previous conversation when I was talking about people that have ulterior motives that move too fast. They don't want you. They want the package because they feel that time is running out. You got to be real careful. And I'm in this age group right now where I'm dealing with a lot of members of the opposite sex that have spent the first 30 years, 30 years of their life working and getting an education. And they look in the mirror and realize, okay, you know what, I'm 40, 50 years old. I need to hurry up and get somebody. Okay, that's fine. The thing is that go ahead and get yourself someone who has that mindset. And to make you laugh even further, I'm in a state of my life where I can't have any children anymore. But you'd be surprised how many men I've come across. They'll turn around and ask me if I want to have children after I told them my children was grown and that I'm at the age where I could be a grandmother and that I'm going through menopause. Yeah, I threw it out there. And that I'm not looking at having any babies. And they still want to talk about that. I'm like, you need to get somebody a little younger. Somebody who's ready for that. Either get somebody a little younger or somebody who's ready to do it because they didn't do it when they were younger. But no, I'm not going to, you're not that special. No. See, I've accepted my phase in my life. I really have. I'm not trying to backtrack for anything. Someone asked me the other day, would I like to be 21 years old again? Nope. Because see, when you're 21, you got to go through this process again. Marriage and child rearing and divorce and single parenting, if that applies. You got to go through all these stages all over again. Monthly cycles, you got to go through all that. No, I don't want to backtrack and start all that all over again. What's done is done. Leave it alone. I'm happy. I'm cool. I'm just thankful to be here. So I'm not going to sit here and keep looking back and wishing that I'm something I'm not. I'm going to embrace what I've got and do the best I can with it and keep it moving. So if someone shows interest with you, don't push them. Don't act so desperate. Don't be so thirsty, I guess that's the terminology that's used. Because you're scaring the crap out of them. All of a sudden you got a restraining order, you don't know why. Just saying.